Hi, how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. The next thing that we are studying in the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, parallel Gospels, is the healing of the man with the withered hand. This section here. Matthew, Mark, Luke. And it does go on to the next page. Okay? Matthew, Mark, and Luke. It looks like Luke has the majority of everything. Matthew has edited the heck out of it. Now, Matthew has been my favorite book, but because of the parallels, the parables, because of the parables. And so, but it has been, but it looks like Luke has got a little bit more. Go back here. We will read with the one that has the majority, Luke 6 through 11. And here we have, on another Sabbath, when he entered the synagogue and taught, the man was there whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and the Pharisees watched him to see whether he would heal on the Sabbath, so that they might find an accusation against him. But he knew their thoughts, and he said to them, to the man who had withered hand, "Come and stand here." And he rose and stood there. Okay. And then he said to them, "Which of you, having a son or an ox that has fallen into a well, will not immediately pull out on a Sabbath day?" And Jesus said to them, "I ask you, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do harm, to save a life or destroy it?" And he looked around at all of them and said to them, "Stretch out your hand." And he did so. And the hand was restored. And they were filled with fury and discussed with one another what they might do to Jesus. Who would be offended if somebody got healed? Someone got well. Someone got well. You know, I would not be offended with that, would you? I've been talking to my church about spiritual gifts and asking God for some of the spiritual gifts. You know, granted that our group is elderly and disabled. We're still here on earth. They could still do things. They could still make an impact, even at their age. And anyway, I told them that, you know, pick out a spiritual gift. Healing is one of them. And I was always the most impressed with that. I remember when I was a kid, Oral Roberts was on TV, and my grandmother would watch Oral Roberts, and he would go, "And be healed. Do you remember that? That impressed me when I was a kid, and they got well. My grandmother was very impressed, and Oral Roberts had his little short stuff on TV, and pretty soon he was building a hospital out in the desert, and then having a problem getting water to the hospital. Do you remember that? Wow. He had to talk to the city council and have something going on with the city and lay in pipes. But they got it done. But this is an interesting story because for some reason the Pharisees and the Sadducees did not like the idea of someone healing on the Sabbath because they said it was work. So it's work. But you know, you would do it. If someone was sick, yeah, you would do it. It's an emergency. Yeah. But somehow, that was forbidden. Your work was forbidden on the Sabbath. So they're not seeing the forest for the trees, okay? The forest is made up of thousands and thousands of trees. But they are not seeing one tree. that one tree that needs help. They're seeing a forest, sort of. You get the idea? Okay. But so anyway, we will go on tomorrow to the next scripture. Whoops. Here. Jesus heals the multitudes. This section here. Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And you're going to have to decide who has more, right? Look, we got blanks here, where they're filled in here, and then the rest of this. So I'm going to have to read in part of this and part of that. So you get the whole story. The whole story this time. And that's exciting. But I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you. Bye-bye.